a plank. I'm doing a plank. Hello everyone, welcome back to my allotment diaries. My name is Emma, these are my allotment diaries. I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new to my channel. I vlog about everything to do with allotment gardening, growing your own stuff, and even my home London garden as well. So do follow along if you're new so you don't miss any of my uploads. I'm here today to do very specific jobs. I am going away camping for 5 days next week and it's going to be incredibly hot in the UK. I say incredibly hot, like 22-23 degrees sunshine, not really due much rain at all. My plan today is to come down and kind of prepare the plot for that. Going away for 5 days in May has serious consequences with it at an allotment plot because the weeds are going to go crazy, and obviously there's the problem of not being able to water, though hopefully I've got a solution for that today. So what I really want to do is go around, inspect stuff, and then do a few jobs to try and hopefully keep my plot on the right track, so when I get back it's not a complete nightmare. Having said that, I know that it will be a little bit of a nightmare because you can't get away with going away in May and coming back and expecting it to be perfect. It's just not going to be. A couple of jobs I want to get going with today. So I've run out of bamboo canes, you know those canes that you buy from like a garden centre. I've run out of them, I've used them everywhere, and I don't want to buy any more because I've got so many like sticks around my allotment. So what I'm going to try and do is just use as many of these as I can, break off all the spindly bits and just use them. I think they work perfectly fine, the same as like a cane. So at this time of year I just don't like to spend any more money on canes. I mean, how many canes can one person own, you know? I've got hundreds of them at home and here, and yet I still run out. Right, the job of the day, first job of the day is to support the broad beans. I know they're not massive right now, but I think if I'm going away for a week they might get massive, so it's best to put the support in now. And the way that you do it is you're supposed to grow them in rows, and then you put a cane either side and you just support the whole row with twine. So I'll show you, hopefully it'll work. I mean, it doesn't say to put a sunflower in the middle, so I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen to the sunflower, but you know, the sunflower is in there and there's nothing I can do about it, and you guys didn't tell me not to put a sunflower in there, so I put a sunflower in there. Hopefully the sunflower will just be okay. He'll have to be, won't he? To be fair, so I think this is right, and if it's not right then it doesn't really matter because I think it's working, and that's the point, isn't it? That it works. So I've got the canes either end, and then I've just sort of, look at the bees, loving it, and I've wrapped the twine right around them, so you've got a piece of twine on either side, and then that will be pulled tight, and then hopefully they'll just sort of keep them upright like that. And then I've essentially supported the entire row with one piece of twine. So I'll do the same for the next bit. I'll tell you what, it's worked better than last year. I think last year I sort of planted them all over the place and I had to have twine going zigzagging everywhere, but this year I have managed to get away with sort of 2 pieces of twine. So hopefully that will sort of keep it upright. And then I think they're looking quite healthy. So we've got all the flowers. We do have some aphids on there. I don't really like to use anything to get them off. I just sort of want to let something come along and eat them. This one over here has quite a lot though. I did notice that this one here, he seems to have been most affected by them. So he's got absolutely hundreds of them. There are ants, there are red ants. I don't know if they eat aphids. Maybe they do. What are they doing? Are they attacking them? I don't really know what you're doing, guys. What are you doing? I wish you could just tell me. Because there's so many other creatures all on there and stuff, I'm just going to leave them to it, and hopefully they'll sort of get the aphids themselves without me like spraying stuff. I know you can spray like dishwashing soap on it and stuff, but I don't really want to do that this year. I really want to let everything be as natural as possible. So I'm just going to let them get on with it. But fingers crossed for broad beans soon. They're doing quite well, guys. I'm happy. This bed is the only bed that I'm not going to use my hoe on. Hoeing is such an easy way of just getting weeds all out of your raised bed, but because I've got sweet corn germinating, I don't want to disturb them, so I'm going to weed it by hand, I think, because it's a miracle that any of it's come up, to be honest, and I want to keep it alive as long as I can. Okay, I don't know how to get over that bit there, so we're going to have to do a bit of a manoeuvre. Weeding while doing the plank. I'm doing a plank. Oh my god. Oh. I just very badly, don't copy that, repositioned a bit of sweet corn, because you're supposed to grow sweet corn in a grid, not in rows, because it's wind pollinated. So if the wind only goes one way, the wind will go straight through your rows and you won't get any pollination. So if you do it in a grid, whatever way the wind blows, that's a song, isn't it? Sounds like a song lyric. Anyway, you'll still get pollination. So I've moved it. Now that I've weeded, I can really see where this sweet corn is coming up. It's actually quite exciting. I've never germinated sweet corn in a bed before. I've always done it at home and transplanted it, but I just did it straight into the bed this year, and all of this green that you can see is all sweet corn. So a couple of really good companion planting for sweet corn. Obviously got the runner beans in, but also courgettes are really good as well. So I'd like to have some courgettes on that side of the bed. Unfortunately, I've killed them all at home, so I have to re-sow them, retry. But I think courgettes here, sweet corn, and then my runner beans and hopefully some French beans as well. And I think that'd be a really good combination in this bed. It looks very dead right now, very not alive, but hopefully in a few months' time, it's going to be up here. Why are you lying on the floor? Up you jump. Up you jump. That's it. You've got to go up here. Weeding, because I know whatever I do, they're all going to spring up next week when I'm not here, and that's just part of an allotment, that's life. So I'm trying not to get too hung up on it. What I am doing is cutting as much back as I can and focusing mainly around the edges. Oh, I've gone dark. Focusing mainly around the edges of raised beds, because that's obviously where slugs and snails will be able to seep in and hide, and basically I want to get rid of all of their little hotels, because that's where they live, and I don't want them to live there. I want to live somewhere else. So anything that's coming up around the edges like this, it sort of creeps over into the bed, I'm getting rid of that. So as I'm weeding this bed, this has got my parsnips in. I've seen, because I've sown new parsnips in between where they've been eaten, and they're starting to come up now. I can see them. They are coming up, so I am going to have parsnips. And the carrots, look at the carrots. We actually have carrot germination, loads of it. So exciting. So these are the parsnips that I sowed in February, and they're really tall now, they're doing really good. And these are the ones that I had to re-sow, I think in April, because the slugs got them. So fingers crossed, they leave them alone now. Also, I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm having significantly less slug damage than I was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I don't know if maybe it's because the sun's come out more and it's like hotter, it's too hot for them, or maybe it's because of all the methods I've been putting in, so the beer traps and the strolch and the slugless and everything. Maybe it's finally kicking in, I don't know. Also, I have noticed they've eaten all my marigolds here, right? So these have all been eaten, but they've left my cosmos alone, which is amazing. So maybe what I need to do is get more marigolds and just plant them all around the place, because they seem to really like these, and they can have those. I don't really mind as long as they leave my cosmos alone. So I might do that. So peaceful on the allotment today, like I love it. It's so calm and nice and peaceful, and oh, just full of nice people, you know. It's lovely here today, I absolutely love it. Thank you for all the comments on my last video. I'm okay, everything's okay. I just had a little bit of a moment. I mean, I am on a London allotment plot, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically London things happened, you know, people came over and tried to get me to go onto their plot, and I don't know, I just got a little bit intimidated yesterday. Maybe I wasn't in the right mindset anyway, I don't know. Ideally, in an ideal world, and my husband and I have been talking about this quite a lot, we want to move house, and I think we're going to look for a house with a bigger garden so that I can have the end of it as my allotment plot, and then might have to think about giving this place up. If I had a garden big enough, I think I would prefer to grow my own food in my garden. I think it'd be more private, I'd have more say over what I put in, and I wouldn't feel so pressured to keep on top of it all the time, because obviously we've got the committee here and stuff, and I've never had a problem with keeping on top of it. But you know, sometimes when someone says you have to do something, it doesn't make it as fun, it kind of takes the fun out of it. We are considering moving house as soon as possible, as soon as we can afford to, basically. Who can right now, right? But we are saving, we're trying to do as much as we can, and then hopefully get a bigger garden and I can start over in my new garden, and that would be incredibly exciting. Very happy about that. So sad to leave the allotment, it will be sad, and I'll probably cry a few times, but I think maybe if I had my own space, I think I'd be happier. There we go, put it out there, said it now. Emma's home allotment garden diaries, that's what it'll be. So one of the things that I am a little bit concerned about while going away is watering situation in the polytunnel. Not so much in the allotment, because I think everything just has to deal with it, but the polytunnel. And I read online there is a nifty little trick with bottles where basically you put a little hole in the top, fill it with water, stick it in the ground, and it very slowly seeps water in. And I think because the polytunnel is quite dry in there, so even if we do get rain, it stays quite dry, and it obviously it like, what am I trying to say? I always go off on one and I forget the word that I'm looking for. It dries out basically, it gets very hot and it dries out very quickly. So I brought a couple of bottles, thought what we'd do is stick a little hole in the top. So I'm not actually going away till Monday, so if I do this now, I'll be able to come back and check on it and see if it works. I've actually lost my little drill bits. I can't find my drill bits. We'll have to use this bit. I know that's not what you're supposed to use, but nothing. I think my drill bit's ready. Right, come on. Oh, we did it. Oh, taking the whole lid off. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. That's one hole. I think that's about the right size, to be honest. Shed antics with Emma today. Shed antics. That was easier. Hey, brilliant. That went better than expected. Were you expecting it to go that well with me? No, I know you weren't. It's okay. Right, I'm going to go fill them up at the watering hole. I don't know what people are going to think if they see me do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. Someone's going to run over in a minute and be like, you can't drink that water, you can't drink that water. But I wasn't planning on it. I was going to wash in it instead. I don't know if this will work. You normally do this with pots. I've actually seen someone do it with a wine bottle. You can do it with any kind of bottle as long as you've got a little hole in on the bottom and more water, like quite a lot of water in it. I can't remember what they're called, but you can like buy fancy ones as well for plants, so I assume it's going to work. As always, little disclaimer here, don't try anything I do unless I tell you it works. So let me try it first and destroy my own allotment plot, and then if it works I'll let you know and you can go and try it yourself. I'd hate anyone to copy everything I do and everything just dies and stuff, so just like wait for me to tell you. Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh, don't squeeze it. If we don't squeeze it, look how slowly the water comes out. That's amazing. That might just be enough just to keep the polytunnel alive while I'm gone. That is genius. Yes. Can I just like take a moment here to say that my polytunnel is probably the best thing I ever purchased for my allotment plot, and I think that everybody should buy a polytunnel because I've never had so much stuff growing, like all through the autumn, all through the winter. Like seriously, if loads of stuff like dies out there, I think at least I've got my polytunnel, because honestly it's just alive all the time. It's alive. Right, I'm going to put one of these one side, one the other side, and dig it in the ground. Seep everywhere, and I think things will be okay in here, but I just want to like make sure the ground stays moist. I think this will work. So if I do it in the middle of these two, I'm just going to whack it in and see what happens. And then what I'll do is I won't water the polytunnel for the next few days, and I'll just see what happens and experiment before I go away. Right, so that's that one in. I think it's a good idea in theory. I'm not sure if it'll actually work in a polytunnel. I think my idea is pretty solid, right? But I think maybe the execution will let me down a little bit. But I think the idea of it works as a self-watering system in a polytunnel. Maybe I just need a lot more of them, and perhaps it will work better when the plants are bigger and their roots are sort of like much longer and they can suck up more. At the moment I think their roots are probably that big so I'm not sure how much they're going to suck up, but I think it's a good idea in theory. I will let you know how these ones get on. Luckily, I mean, they're all alive. They're all alive. Also, while I'm in here, could anybody please tell me when this kohlrabi will be ready to harvest? I've never grown them before and it's getting quite big. I think it could probably get a bit bigger, right? Maybe when I get back from holiday next week I'll have a look at it, but how big do these need to be? Because these ones are quite small still and this one's quite big, and I'm pretty sure it's supposed to bulb out a little bit. So let me know if you've ever grown this before. I am so excited to harvest these and try them. These radishes, these must be ready to harvest now, surely. That one looks ready. Oh no, he doesn't, he's teeny tiny. Are there any other big ones in here though? Because there must be, you must be. Oh, smallest radishes in the world. I'm gonna go one more because I've just got a feeling one of them's gonna not let me down. No, you've let me down the worst of all. Right, so I've grown the world's smallest radishes. I've grown the world's smallest radishes. I keep whacking radish seeds in the plot and I've got loads of them growing at home that I just keep harvesting and eating, so I really don't need to grow any more here. But the seeds are just so ridiculously easy to get your hands on and I just keep whacking them in. But honestly, that is the smallest radish harvest I think anyone's ever had, right? think I'm going to leave it there today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. Don't forget, if you are going away, going on holiday, there's only so much that you can do. Your plots will be here when you get back, and you can just spend a few days getting it back sorted, back into order again. Don't let it spoil your holiday. I know it will become a weedy mess and stuff, and I just completely accept that, and I'll just put in the work when I get back. So do enjoy your holidays as well. There's only so much you can do. Hope you enjoyed my vlog. If you did, do subscribe to my channel, and I will see you again very soon. See you later. Bye.